Today, our KGCT 8 Pat O'Reilly kicks off our exclusive series, Making a Difference. He talks with those that are involved in Bridges to Life, an organization that helps those caught up in the criminal justice system. Pat, I believe many are looking forward to this exciting series.
So what we're talking about is a story that I believe is really a story about how these two individuals help those that have been caught up in the criminal justice system become productive members of society. So let's get started out with, we'll call her Mindy number one. So Mindy, first of all, tell us who you're with and what your organization's all about.
So I am with Bridges to Life. I have been with Bridges to Life. First, I started out as a volunteer. I've been with them a total of 15 years. I came on staff 2.5 years ago. And what we are is we're a faith-based, crime victim-oriented program that work with the incarcerated. So we go inside prisons. I'm in a prison every day of the week. And we're teaching them about accountability, responsibility, crime, conflict, restitution, all through faith. But we're teaching them how their crimes, their choices impact their victims, impact the community, and they're learning empathy.
Okay, and I want to come back to a lot of what you touched on and go a little bit deeper with it. So Mindy, we'll call you Mindy number two. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved in this program, and we're here in the church that you work at. So tell me a little bit about all that.
I'm the outreach director here at the Harbor Church. One of the regional directors came and told us about Bridges to Life. And I was invited to a graduation. Being the victim of a violent crime, the last thing that I wanted to do was go into a prison. But that's my job. So I went to the graduation, and I just prayed the whole way there. You know, if this is something for me, I just need a sign. I'm just like that. And the first person that I walked in and met shook my hand and said, "Hello, my name is," and I can't remember his name. He said, "But people call me Moses." So I paused and I'm like, "Okay, Lord, you're giving me your speaker here through this man." And so then I sit and I listen to man after man talk about the terrible things that they have done and then the change in their life through this program. And then at the end, I happened to meet John Sage, who is the founder of Bridges to Life. And it's almost like he can see through a person, but he says, "I know you have a story and I want to know it." And so we talked a little bit, and then he asked me, "Would you be willing to tell your story in prison?" And I said, "Okay."
I want to go a little bit deeper with some of what you've shared as well.
Okay.
If we could go back, just briefly explain, how do you determine whether or not someone's going to be able to participate in the program?
Are you talking about men or volunteers?
Men, the inmates.
So with them, the only criteria is they can't graduate more than once. And so we're always taking first-time men. And I like guys that are not coming up for parole within the next 3 to 4 months. And it's because we're 14 weeks. We want them to finish the program and not take up a spot if they're only going to be here for 3 or 4 weeks. Anybody's welcome. Every belief is welcome. Again, we're faith-based, but we welcome every belief.
So, as I understand it, this isn't just show up and check a box and go on about your business. This is a structured program with curriculum, and they have to actively participate in this program. It's not just show up if you feel like it. You expect them to attend regularly.
Yes, so attendance is required. There is a set number they're not allowed to miss beyond. We don't tell them that. When I'm telling them about the program and orientation, I tell them attendance is required within your control.
I want to go back to something that you shared. So you said you were a crime victim, and now you're in the prison system as a crime victim, helping change the very people that perhaps some would want to stay away from.
Yeah.
Tell me how that makes you feel.
At first I thought it would be strange because I was violently assaulted, and my perpetrator was never caught. So I could be sitting before the person who assaulted me, and after this much time, I probably wouldn't even recognize them. But the healing that I've received through all of this has brought me to a place where if that person were sitting there, it would be just like any other man there. But I've been able to work through that and walk past that. Forgiveness. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it takes a lot of courage to go into that kind of environment after what you have been through. If I could come back over to something that you had mentioned, and that's, how this changes a person, how your program is really about making sure that you make a difference in their life while they're incarcerated. Sure, you kind of have them, no pun intended, but as a captive audience.
Yes.
And so now is the time to really get that message across, so that, like you're saying, you don't want to run into them again. You don't want to see them back in that environment, in that setting again. And so as you're working with these individuals, I think you mentioned 80 some odd percent.
89%
Don't
do
return.
not return back to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that statistic is really impressive, to know that you're having that kind of impact on those kind of folks. But it's not just that person that's benefiting. It's society, it's the community, it's the
Right.
families of not only this person that you're trying to reach, but those others that are the victims
Yes.
of so many. And so how long has your organization been in these prisons doing this work?
Since 1998, so over 25 years. Just this past summer, we had our 90,000th graduate.
Yeah.
And, we've been around long enough that we remember the 1,000, the 10,000, the 20,000. We were rolling out the carpet because we didn't even think we'd get there. And so when you get to hand that 90,000th certificate to an individual, by the end of this year, we're going to have 100,000 graduates. That, like you said, that's families. So these men's families are impacted because they're going home. They're calling their families. They're having true organic conversations that they've never had before. Because many of them will tell us over and over, their families are like, what has changed with you? You're different. You're actually asking questions. You're listening. It's also crime victim families, because we take solace in knowing, most of us do, that they're not going to hurt somebody again.
So you really get to see the transformation that occurs in the lives of these individuals. And something that's so amazing is that you never know the impact they're going to have for the years to come.
No.
And let's talk a little bit about that. So do you see some of those that complete the program, that get paroled, that come back and give back to other inmates?
I have a couple of volunteers that at one time served time, took our program, got out, got on their feet. They have great jobs now. They have rebuilt that relationship with their families that they had lost, literally had lost. And now back inside the prison, and they're facilitating small groups with us. And it's powerful to see, especially when they tell you, well, I took the program at blah, blah, blah unit in such and such year, and it stuck with me. And a lot of them will tell me it's the only program that truly has them reflect on themselves. What are they really responsible for? And how can I change that? Which is how I have a volunteer she's out. She's doing great in society. She actually serves on 2 of my projects and holds down a full-time job, has her own place, and is being respected enough in her family to help even take care of family members now, which 3 or 4 years ago she would have never seen. She never would have thought she'd have gotten to this moment, that she would have that relationship with her kids again. And now they're asking her help with this and this going on in the family.
Yes. So if I could come back to you for just a moment. So being that victim, coming back into that environment and working with people to change their life, knowing that they've hurt other people. How long have you been doing it? How long have you been coming into the prisons and giving back and
This
and
is,
helping?
I think it's either my eighth year. And through that was COVID. We did some self-study projects during COVID, which was, I did not like that. We wanted to be in the unit so bad. But I can tell you, through all of that, I forgot my license one time, and then I had a pity party having to sit in my car, not getting in because I couldn't get into the unit. And so I do everything that I can do. I do not miss. It's that important. And our time is so limited
We've all seen the news stories where you've got somebody, let's say, for instance, that was driving drunk, and so you have a victim. And often when you're watching this on the news, you'll see from time to time someone that says, I want to forgive them. Mm-hmm. And I want to partner with them to go out and tell this story to try to make a difference. So for someone that would be a victim of a crime, mm-hmm. that perhaps could really make an impact, much like you are in the prison system, and going in and talking about their story and such, what would you tell someone that's hesitant to get involved in such an effort?
One of the things that I learned is that while my story is something that happened to me, I can either hold on to that and it be something that does nothing, changes nothing, or I can allow my story to be something that can be a difference maker. I would encourage anyone who holds on to that pain and that hurt, and it may not be in a prison, but it's somewhere, mm-hmm. That healing is available.
It's really incredible to hear your story, knowing that you were a victim of a crime, and now you can look beyond that and take it mm-hmm. and use it to improve the lives of those that many would say they're just perpetrators. They need to stay where they're at in the prison and never get out. And sometimes you hear that on the news where you hear a crime victim says, I don't want them ever to get out of prison, and then there are those that'll forgive. So, but your story is very incredible and very moving, and I believe it really speaks volumes about there can be healing in the midst of all of that trauma. Tell me a little bit about your church here, because I think quite often when folks are incarcerated and then they get back out into society, they're hesitant to try to get back into a church because they feel like they may be shunned or not welcomed. Mm-hmm. I certainly don't get that impression here. So tell us briefly about your church and how they do receive those kinds of folks.
I've been attending church here for a very long time, and I came here in my brokenness not that long after I was assaulted, and I was not seen as the little broken girl or anything like that. I was welcomed with love and had people pour into me to help me through the process. But our culture here at this church is very welcoming. One of our core values, we were just talking about that earlier, is love first. And I think it just starts with that, and everything else just falls from that. And we just love people. We don't all see things exactly the same way. We don't all necessarily have the exact same beliefs. And one thing our senior pastor says just about every Sunday is, you may not believe everything that we're talking about or believe as we believe, but you still have a place here.
And tell me, so let's kind of talk a little bit about the church itself, the name of how do I find this church that you're describing?
All right, we are the Harbor Church. We're in Friendswood, Texas.
And what's the address here?
It's 2821 Parkwood Avenue. We're right off of 528, and Moore Road is the cross street right here. Right by the fire station, the baseball fields in Friendswood.
For those that are wanting to get in touch with your organization, again, it's Bridges to Life. How would they reach you guys? So I assume that you have a website. What's the best way for them to contact you?
bridgestolife.org, and I'm on the website, so if they want to contact me directly, my phone number's on there, my email's on there.
Well, thanks again for taking time to speak.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for watching this exclusive KGCT 8 Making a Difference segment. Go out and make it a great day today.
KGCT 8